Hey guys, what's going on? So today I wanted to talk to you about TBC actually. So the Burning Crusade has pretty much been confirmed by Blizzard. There's been several surveys that have been sent out to players kind of asking for a little bit of their feedback. So we can pretty much assume that Blizzard is going to do TBC instead of, Classic Plus or just keeping Classic around forever. Who knows what they'll do with servers, if there's going to be transfers, if it's fresh templated characters, or you're starting all the way from level 1. We will have to see on all that stuff. But today I want to talk to you guys about why I think TBC could be basically dead on arrival, and things that I think Blizzard really needs to consider early on, and that is mainly faction imbalance. So in Classic WoW, we see that obviously Horde dominate in PvP, Horde dominate the battlegrounds, Horde most hardcore PvPers go Horde side because their racials are just that much stronger. The good thing about Alliance in Classic WoW is that Alliance really dominates in terms of their racials and spells and classes for raiding. But raiding is very, very simple and very easy in Classic WoW. Really, the only thing that sets you apart is your speed that you get your raids done at. Everyone's clearing raids. Raids are not a challenge. So most people, don't really worry about the PvE benefits and would rather worry about the PvP benefits. So the one thing that I will say is, a big concern of mine is how TBC basically takes the imbalances that you get from Classic WoW and just kind of makes them even worse. And one thing I will say, if you're doubting this, just check out any of the TBC private servers that have come out in the last year or two. Almost every single TBC server that comes out gives perks to players that play Alliance. So they basically incentivize players to play Alliance. They give them decreased mount costs, respec costs, extra speed and leveling. They give them more honor gained in PvP. They do all this stuff in order to try and convince players to play on the Alliance. That's how bad this faction imbalance is. And really one of the big things, not only is it obviously you're still getting very, very strong racials from the Horde side, but now you have the introduction of Paladins on the Horde side and Shamans on the Alliance side. Now, Shamans on the Alliance side obviously is nice for Alliance, but I will say that Blood Elf Paladins are very, very strong in PvE and in PvP with Seal of Blood, their racial being able to silence, especially when you're a melee class and you're a Paladin and you lack silences. So basically, you take the imbalance factors that you get in Classic WoW and you just make them a lot worse in TBC. Now, granted, you have Arena, so faction doesn't matter quite as much because obviously in Arena, your faction doesn't matter at all. But World PvP will be essentially dead in my opinion, just like you see it now in Classic WoW. Most servers really, if you're Alliance and you go out in the world, you get killed by Horde all the time. And if you're Horde and you go out in the world, you have such a hard time finding any Alliance out in the world that anytime you do find an Alliance, you try and kill them. So it just kind of makes it an even worse situation out in the world. So I think that will be a problem in TBC. Obviously, TBC World PvP isn't quite as well known as it is in Classic. Classic's kind of known for World PvP being a lot of fun, and I think that was ruined a lot for people with the ranking system and World PvP. But we'll wait and see. Arena not having to worry about faction is a big thing, but I do think what you will see is servers being heavily Horde dominated, Alliance being kind of outnumbered in all aspects of the game, and I just think that Blizzard needs to address this. Now, most people have always been no changes with Classic WoW, but honestly, if it made server stability, server faction balance, basically anything to make the game a little bit more fair for both factions would be a welcome change in my opinion. I mean, Blizzard was already trying to do that by introducing Paladins to the Horde and Shamans to the Alliance. They wanted to kind of allow both factions to have those classes on their side. So the fact that they kind of messed up with doing Seal of Blood, I forget what the palette or the Draenei Paladin's version of Seal of Blood is, but it's not very good. It's basically a Seal of Righteousness that's just a little bit different. I think it's like a stacking holy damage thing. Overall, it's pretty bad. I think that even giving Draenei Paladins a Seal of Blood version, and maybe looking at some of the different racials on Horde and Alliance side, I know that's kind of like a hot topic, and a lot of people would say that they don't want any changes and they want things to be left the same. But personally, I know in a recent stream I talked about this. I really haven't been playing my level 60 as much as I had hoped for. And I really don't want this to be the same situation in TBC. Obviously, like I said, arena is a big thing, and that doesn't really matter about your faction so much. So that's a great thing. But I still really enjoy, world PvP in TBC was a lot of fun, regardless of what people say about flying mounts. World PvP in Nagrand was great. The different elemental plateaus area was always really fun in PvP. And so seeing world PvP just being dead because of faction imbalance would also be really a bummer. So I hope that Blizzard can address this. They can come together with the community and find some solutions for the balance issues. And personally, I would welcome changes to this because I think it makes the game much more healthy as a whole. Basically in Classic WoW, I haven't been touching my 60 except to raid log, and everything else I've been doing has been at like lower levels. So either like leveling up alts and just having fun with them, or doing low level PvP, because at low level PvP the imbalance is not quite as severe at 60. Basically at level 60, Horde win every game, Alliance lose every game. Horde has huge queues, Alliance has almost no queue. So I would just like to see a little bit more thought on how they can make the game a little bit more fair, balanced, and exciting that way for players that are going into TBC. Because I think that's one thing that could really hurt TBC is faction imbalance. And then one thing I also want to cover, guys, before I leave, I recorded all this and then I was thinking to myself, a lot of people are going to ask me what I think about TBC in general versus something like Classic Plus. As you know, I've talked about in the past, Classic Plus, and how I think Classic Plus would be, a breath of fresh air, some new content, because as much as everyone likes Classic WoW, TBC, and all that stuff, we've all seen that content before. So it would be nice to see something completely new and fresh. I do think that obviously this was kind of well known from a lot of people that they probably would go with TBC versus Classic Plus. As TBC is, already been created, so it's going to cost Blizzard as a company a lot less money, and also players would like to see TBC, whereas Classic Plus, it's more up in the air whether players would enjoy content like that or not. Now, I personally would enjoy TBC just as much as a lot of you would as well. I haven't played TBC private servers like I did play a lot of Classic private servers, so TBC would definitely be more fresh and new for me. Obviously, I experienced TBC way back in the day, but I wasn't actually raiding in TBC. I did a lot of arenas, but it'd be nice to kind of go through the raids and everything as a fresh level 70 and have that experience once again. So I'm excited for TBC. Would I like to see Classic Plus instead? Yes, but I do think that there is more room for error on Blizzard's end with Classic Plus, and like I've said in the past, it's definitely one of those things that I don't see them doing just because of financial reasons and just making the player base happy. I think TBC is just a much safer approach. So with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I haven't been putting out as much content lately. I've just been pretty busy with a lot of stuff in my life, just random things. And a lot of the stuff I've been doing in WoW has been fairly mundane and boring, nothing too exciting to create content about. And I know a lot of the content that I was thinking about putting out, a lot of other content creators have done videos, and so I didn't really want to do too many stuff on, ZG, farming ZG, getting rep for ZG, herb, the bloodvine for ZG. There's so many videos out there on that I was just going to let
those videos be put out by other people. I'm just like you guys. I watch a lot of classic WoW content from different creators, so still definitely involved in the classic scene and been enjoying the game, but I probably won't be putting out videos quite as often unless I have some really good ideas that I come up with. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care.